They say hindsight is 20/20. But when you're holding your baby in one hand and watching your life savings disappear with the other, you start to see things differently. My name's Matt. I'm 33. I've got a wife who still somehow loves me, and a 4-year-old son who thinks I'm Superman. And a very personal story about how Bitcoin almost destroyed my family. It started in 2017. I was working a mid-level IT job, bringing in around $52K a year. Nothing glamorous, just enough to pay rent, handle groceries, and maybe take my wife out twice a month. Then my son was born. Everything changed. I started thinking long-term, about his college, our future, and that's when I stumbled on Bitcoin. It was booming. Everyone was talking about it like it was the second coming. I thought, what if this is our shot? So I put in $2,000, just a toe dip. 2 months later, that $2,000 became $5,800. That was more than my monthly take home. I felt like I'd found the cheat code. I didn't stop at $2,000. I went deeper. I started skipping meals out, canceling Spotify, even pulled my 401k early. 10% penalty be damned. My wife, Jess, wasn't thrilled. Are we investors now? She asked, half jokingly. I told her I was doing it for our future, for our son. I got obsessed. Crypto subreddits, YouTube chart analysis, white papers. I even tried mining for a bit. Every time Bitcoin surged, I felt like a genius. By late 2020, we were sitting on $104,000. My original $15K had turned into 6 figures. My wife wanted to cash out. I didn't. What if it goes higher? I said. Spoiler, it did. And then it didn't. In April 2021, Bitcoin hit 64K. I panicked. I cashed out $85,000 thinking I'd called the top. But 2 weeks later, it hit 69K. I watched as I missed out on another potential 40K. And that's when the FOMO hit me like a truck. I convinced myself, I'll buy back in. I'll ride it again. Bad idea. I bought back in at 67K, all in. Everything we just pulled out, minus some taxes. I even took out a 15K personal loan with 14% interest. You know what happened next? The crash. Bitcoin tanked, down to 30K, then 21. I couldn't sleep. My son needed new shoes and I was Googling how to sell used monitors. We had $8.43 in our checking account the day I sold our Nintendo Switch just to buy groceries. Jess tried to be supportive, but I saw it in her eyes. The disappointment, the fear, the hurt. She married a man who swore he'd protect her, and now she was returning diapers to make rent. I still remember the night we fought. She said, I didn't sign up to gamble our son's future away. And she was right. That night, I deleted every crypto app. I cold stored what was left, around 1900, and buried my wallet in my sock drawer. I got a second job delivering groceries, and I promised no more shortcuts. For 2 years, I didn't touch Bitcoin. I worked 60-hour weeks. We caught up on bills, paid off the loan, and finally saved enough for an emergency fund. I started talking to a financial advisor. We made a real plan, budgeting, investing in index funds, boring stuff, but stable. Bitcoin became a memory until 6 months ago. Jess said, hey, didn't you still have that wallet? I dug out the wallet, entered the seed phrase, and my jaw hit the floor. The 1900? It was now 26,700. I should have been happy, but I just stared at the screen, frozen. Because all I could think was, if I just held from the beginning, we'd have over $300,000. But here's the truth. If I had held, I probably would have sold at the wrong time anyway, or bought again too late. The real lesson? It wasn't about catching the wave, it was learning how not to drown. My son's 5 now. He likes Hot Wheels and peanut butter and calling me a silly potato. Someday he'll ask about money, about risk, about Bitcoin. And I'll tell him this: it's okay to chase opportunity, but never bet your family, never bet your peace, and never confuse a bull market for brains. We invest now in boring stuff. Dollar cost averaging, no leverage, no hype. And every night I tuck him in, I remember that Bitcoin didn't make me a millionaire, but it did make me a better man. If this story hit home, if you've ever made a mistake, chased a dream, or tried your best for your family, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can hear stories like this. And if you're into real, honest stories about money, life, and lessons learned the hard way, subscribe. I'm just one dad trying to figure it all out. Maybe together we can do a little better.